Hey y'all, it's Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis, and today I want to talk a little bit about the orchid cabinet, which is just down here, and some Phalaenopsis trials, which I had thought I was doing really well with, but it turns out that I'm not. So, as many of you know who've been following my channel for a while, I've been growing orchids specifically for over 30 years, and I figured I would have a kind of an easy time picking up Phal. I'm into the sort of the summer blooming or novelty Phalaenopsis, especially the species in some of the primary hybrids. And I've been collecting a few to sort of cut my teeth on over the past couple of years. And last summer it was tough outside. I lost a few, mostly the Tetraspis. Didn't seem to care for the really high temperatures and highlight, but some of the other ones stuck around. I got them inside into an orchid cabinet, and I'll show it to you here in a sec. This fall, I guess, probably, when we typically bring the orchids inside here in South Central Texas is, early to mid-November. And they perked up right away. Like, I've got a video where I showed, a couple of 4 to 6 weeks, I think, after I brought them inside, new growth, new roots, shiny leaves, flower spikes. It was like this whole other world where the Phalaenopsis came inside and they're like, this is great, we love this. Fast forward a couple months and they're not doing so great. I think I know what it is, and I'm going to ask for. So the last video was where I put up the frame for my shade house, and I said, hey y'all, please give me some advice. And I'm gonna do something similar today. I think the Phalaenopsis experiment for me, at least in this particular setup, is over. I'm probably gonna try again when I get another cabinet, and I'm only gonna have one light on top, and that's important because I'm pretty sure the lights that I have are so unbelievably bright that they're just frying these poor phals. And they're the Flora Wave from Carnivoro, and Carnivoro is a carnivorous plant nursery in Dripping Springs, which is where I used to live before I moved here to the San Antonio area. In Dripping Springs is a suburb basically at this point of Austin. And so I got a couple of those lights. I've grown under lights, for a long time, but it's always been the very bright, light-loving plants like Cattleyas, Catasetums, and they would just come in for the winter. They would do well and then go back outside. My goal with the Phalaenopsis was to grow them inside all year long under lights. And I think I chose lights that were just simply way too powerful, which, is good typically. Having lights that are not bright enough is really incredibly frustrating because you have to buy more, right? You keep buying more, it takes up more space, it's a pain in the butt. Now on the other side of the coin, where I have lights that are super powerful, really just great lights. Like I can't believe how strong and how good these lights are, but not for Phalaenopsis. So I want to show you the phals. I want to show you the lights. You've seen the setup, but of course I'll show it to you again. I want to ask for your opinion on fragrant, small, let's say, I almost want like this, but they can be bigger, like hand-sized orchids that love light. I've got some of the Angricums, or at least Arangis, and some of these African white blooming, typically orchids. So I'm trialing them right now, but I would love to hear what y'all are growing under crazy bright lights, under indoor conditions. So intermediate to warm conditions, I guess is what I would characterize it. And then something that stays relatively small and fragrant. I'm a fragrance guy. I want to smell good stuff. So watch the video, see my setup, and let me know what you think. All right, so here we are once again in front of the orchid cabinet. I've moved some things. I had, well, let me just start. So I had most of my Phalaenopsis here on the top. on the top level. And so the top level, as you can see, is pretty close to the light. So I've got my hand touching the light here. And so it's probably, I don't know, a foot, 12 inches away from the bottom, from here to here. And as you can see, I can't make this go up anymore. This is as high as it goes. So this light will have to stay here. And I've had my Phalaenopsis all sort of in the back here and in the sides. And you can see here's a Bulbophyllum romii that's looking kind of sad, probably for the same reason. Bulbos do tend to bounce back, so I'm hoping that's what's happening. Some baby Catasetums here, and then some Cattleyas, and they're mostly doing all right. Except for that one. That one got fried somehow. So I've moved my phals, what phals are left, down to this bottom shelf, which has a little more space. Did you see that? I don't know if you saw that. I touched this leaf and it fell off of this phal. And I'm kind of sad because it's Bastianii. They're looking a little crispy right now, so I'll water after this video. But so this distance to the top is probably 15 inches, let's say. So let's say it's close to 50% farther from the bottom of the light to the base here. So I also have a rack in the back, as you can see, so I can hang mounted plants like this one. I got this one in a Popka about a month ago, I guess. So, you know, it's still adjusting. It was brought in directly from Africa, so it looks okay. And then I've got these two other plants here from Afri Orchid. This is Certorchis and Orangus punctata. Both are doing just fine so far. But the phals, as you can see, and what's happening is kind of similar to all of them. So they get this sort of ruddy brown crust on them, and then the leaves turn yellow and fall off. And I've got a really good example of that over here with this Ludemaniana. Here's a leaf from it. So it's trying to put out a new growth. It has 2 flower spikes, which it started since I got them in here. Here's another one. This is Gigabel. Has dropped most of its leaves. This is Tetraspis C1 that I got from Nicole Deanna. You know, it was doing so well that it started to put out a spike. This is one that I got from Blue Ridge recently, and you can see that I've got them all as far away from the lights as possible. This is the one that I'm saddest about, because this is Gigabel that I got from Michael McCarthy. It survived the brutal summer almost unscathed. There were a couple days where the wind blew the shade cloth off, and this thing was exposed to full, bright sunshine, Texas sun in the summer, and it didn't burn. So I thought this thing was bulletproof. It was putting out all these new roots, which are starting to shrivel. Let me see if I can turn this a bit so you can get a better look. So you can see there's this wholesale change in all of the plants. You can see this one's dropping its leaves. Let's see if I can yank this leaf off here. Just get it out. You know, they get this sort of crust, and then they just start dropping their leaves, and it's over and over and over again. So I am not familiar enough with Phalaenopsis to know what's really going on. I'm guessing that it's the bright light is just slowly frying them. So I brought them in from summer. They did really well. They immediately rebounded, but maybe they're at the upper end of their light tolerance, and they're just getting nuked. So my question to y'all is, what do you think is going on? Is it just the light? Look, see, even this one was starting to grow. This Bastianii was starting with 2 spikes. So these were all super happy in December and January. And then since then, they're just like, no, we're not happy anymore, and we're going on strike. Oh, and we're also going to die. So, exactly. So my questions to you, what do you think is happening? Should I give up on the Phals, or at least in this cabinet? And what should I replace them with? I mean, I have this space. It's small. It needs small orchids that love, decently high temperatures. I mean, I turn my air conditioning off mostly during the day. So my house will get up to 80. It's probably getting hotter here in the cabinet. I haven't checked my sensor push, so the orchid cabinet's going to get higher than that while I'm out of the house. And what do you think? Anyway, hope you all are having a great weekend. See ya.